Welcome everybody, this is Cameron's Corner. I am Cameron Croft, CEO of Croft Production Systems, a natural gas processing company striving to be the natural gas processing company. What we're talking about today is emission reduction initiative, specifically in dehydration. Now the Biden administration has fulfilled its goals on joining back into the Paris Accord and with its executive orders ramping up the emission reduction initiatives in the EPA. A study called the Inventory of U.S. Gas Emissions came out in 2007, and this is what they're basing a lot of their calculations off of and what the areas of focus that they want to go into. So we started using those studies along with other studies of what are they building their foundation on. Now the EPA calculations that 17 BCF of emissions are caused by dehydrators and pumps on those dehydrators. That is 10% of what they're contributing to all the natural gas polluters preventers. Now that's fascinating. So we really wanted to hone in on that because that's like a big nail sticking up that most likely they're going to hammer out. Now what is the problem? Dehydration has to occur. It decreases the probability of hydrate formation from occurring, fallout of liquids in the line. So that's why midstream companies and boosting stations have to have that dehydration. So we started focusing on like, all right, we know this. How many units are possibly out there? So we've looked at, there's over 38,000 registered dehy units at production, gathering, and boosting stations, most of these being TEG units. Now, glycol units in normal operations will create emissions. You got methane losses, which the EPA is going to be focusing on pretty hard on the methane recovery portion of it. But you also got in the volatile organic compounds, the VOCs. But the other aspect of it is the safety issues, the hazardous air pollutants like BTEX. Now these areas come from the reboiler, methane losses from pneumatic controllers, vent blow-bys, the pumps not being fulfilled properly, so you got blow-by of the gas in itself. So the possible solutions. Now, one of them the EPA was talking about, and this is what we've actually seen a huge portion of our business go into, is the mitigation by elimination, which sounds pretty cool. But this is replacing with desiccant dehydrators. At Croft, we call this as our passive dehydration systems. Now, we rent and sell these units worldwide on several locations ranging from 100 MCF to 200 million a day. Now, they're popular because they require no air permits. There's no methane losses, there's no burners, there's no moving parts on these things. But they will not always work in every situation. So this is why me and my engineering team and my service team came together of how do we provide a solution for those people that it doesn't work. For those 38,000 registered dehy units, how do we provide these solutions? One is first knowledge, best standard practices. So we identify these large areas of emissions. So by reducing the emission areas like a glycol circulation, coming into a lot of our client locations in an unconventional well sites like a shale. Remember, there's on average like a 70% decline. So the unit is still working when they dial it up, have the pump going, but after a month, 2 months, they're over circulating their well site, and then this is a huge cause of methane losses. Another one is figuring out maybe like electric pump installations. That's not always going to work because, as we know, these are very remote locations. So electricity's not there, we got to cut that off to the side. Flash tank separator installations. So these are some really cool ideas that we're coming up with of what's working and not working, so you almost have a flow chart of decision-making tree. Croft is partnering up with several subject matter experts and key vendors to create packages upgrading the unit or fully replacing the unit with something that will get you within compliance. Our whole goal is we need to educate our industry to provide bolt-on solutions to increase the implementation, because having all of these things sounds fantastic, but these bolt-on applications is really going to be pushing us into what we need, like the burner management systems, having those ready to go. One of the things is like a BTEX. On several locations, if they're not already, when you buy and provided out there, most people put like a bypass line over the BTEX unit because they know it plugs up, they don't clean them out properly, it's hard to clean out, and then these technicians, pumper, gaugers, operators, they got a lot of stuff on their plate. So how do we provide the tools and resources they need to get within compliance but still meet all of their scheduling? And then so that's what we're going to be pushing on to. So over the next course of the year, Croft is doing several things to help educate our clients. We're creating webinars to educate on these topics, talking with our subject matter experts on these webinars, really diving down and focusing on what needs to get done, writing a lot of case studies and white papers, so that way people at least, and it's not always going to be work, it's not the best standard practices, but it'll allow hopefully a trigger in their mind to get something working of that epiphany idea of, all right, there's a better way of doing this. And there are also what we're calling our innovation labs with these subject matter experts. These are real hard-in focus huddle groups. That way, from each different perspective, we can be talking about how to reduce these emission reductions, but also the implementation phase of it. Because you're going to be pounding down of what needs to happen, but if it's not operationally efficient to get it done, most likely it's not going to. Now, if you have any questions and need assistance on getting into compliance or just increasing the efficiency of your operation, please contact Croft. We're here to help you in any way possible. And also, if you have a technology or have utilized a company or product has benefited the operations in your company, please reach out to us, because what I want to do is reach out to those people and try to get them on board and see how we can mesh our technologies, our services, and what's worked in the past. Now, thank you again for joining Cameron's Corner, and subscribe to our channel and newsletter to get this information heading your way of the best practices, and then hopefully you can get us where we need to be. All right.